Did you know that 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐷 was originally going to be a man? Or that Zoro was originally going to be a part of Buggy's crew? We will cover 20 such amazing secrets you definitely don't know about Straw Hats. Like, do you know why doesn't Luffy finish his enemies? Like many shonen heroes, Luffy doesn't end his enemies' lives, but he's not against it for moral reasons. For Luffy, leaving his enemies alive is a better punishment. If they simply pass away, they won't get to watch while Luffy overturns everything they were working towards. Considering his generally sunny attitude, it's surprising that his approach to battle is so cold. Apart from being cold towards his enemies, Oda revealed that he wanted Luffy to come across as the sort of person who didn't hold back his thoughts, but expresses them either through words or actions. He uses the fewest thought bubbles out of all the characters in One Piece. With his nature and thoughts, his hat also has a crazy story. Everyone knows that Luffy's straw hat was given to him by red-haired Shanks, his hero and role model. However, what might not be known by everyone is that it was originally owned by the legendary Gold-D Roger. Roger wore the hat until he eventually handed it off to Shanks, who handed it to Luffy when he was a child. Luffy promised to give the hat back after he became the Pirate King. Zoro was originally going to be a part of Buggy's crew. Oda originally planned for Zoro to be Buggy's bodyguard, but he was more than that. He was also a part of a found family. Buggy's crew was originally supposed to have a familial feel to it, with Zoro acting as the oldest brother. Do you think Zoro would have been a good addition to Buggy's crew, or do you prefer him as a straw hat? Let me know in the comments below. In an interview, fans asked Oda some crazy questions. One of the many questions involved how they'd place if they competed against each other in a 50-meter race. Here's the ranking: Brook, Sanji, Monkey D. Luffy, Tony Chopper, Roronoa Zoro, Usopp, Nami, 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐷, Frankie. Though Oda didn't explain all of the choices, he mentioned that Brook would win because he was the lightest, while Frankie would come in last because he was the heaviest. Meanwhile, Zoro could have done better if he didn't get lost partway through. LOL for Zoro in the comments, guys. Oda also told fans that not every member of the Straw Hat crew has a devil fruit, but he has an idea of what their hypothetical fruits might be. Usopp might have the Pokey fruit, which lets the user create infinity pockets all over the body, which can hold objects that are much larger than the pockets themselves. Frankie would have the arms fruit, which lets the user turn into a full-body weapon human. Zoro's ideal fruit would be the fish fruit, model dragon, which would let him transform into a dragon. Sanji's would be the swim fruit, which would let him swim through solid material like the ground. The rumble fruit would be Nami's. This would allow her to create, control, and transform her body into pure electricity. Robin was going to be a man. When Oda was first making decisions about the series, Robin's role was filled by a male character who loved botany. Robin eventually replaced this character. Not only did her gender differ, but her interests do too. Robin isn't uninterested in botany, but her main focus is on history. However, this former character's fascination with plants would not go to waste. Eventually, it was given to Usopp. Sanji was inspired by Steve Buscemi. It's pretty common for Oda to take inspiration from Western celebrities, as he took lots of inspiration from IRL shows. You don't know? You can watch our video where we have explained all of this. Here's the video. Many people think that Sanji was inspired by Leonardo DiCaprio, but this isn't true. Instead, Oda claims that he's actually modeled after Steve Buscemi as he appears in Reservoir Dogs. Do you see the resemblance? Oda once described what Sanji would do if he became president. Rather than trying to create gender equality, he would pass laws that exclusively benefit women and intentionally discriminate against men. He wouldn't stay in power for long because men would band together to oust him from his position. This raises some questions, like whether or not those discriminatory laws would apply to Sanji himself, or whether those pro-woman laws still let men hit on them, as Sanji loves to do. Would anybody actually vote for Sanji on this platform? Tell us in the comments below. By the way, have you watched this video where we have discussed some more amazing secrets about One Piece? Don't miss it.